Hey, how you doing? Pete here, founder of Growth Models. I wanted to talk today briefly about what is growth marketing. 'Cause it's one of those things I think is misunderstood, misrepresented, and I think poorly approached by many people. So we're going to go quickly through, and this is an introduction to obviously how we approach things at Growth Models and what I've seen work over sort of 10 years in marketing for startups and digital first brands. So a lot of people will hear growth marketing and immediately their brain goes to growth hacking. And of course, with the word hacking, there's this belief that it's all underhanded or unfair, that you're doing something wrong. Unfortunately, we can't blame Sean Ellis for this, the guy who coined the term growth hacking. If you go and read his works, there's nothing underhanded in what he recommends. It's the way that many people have sort of run with it and taken it to a place where, do this one kind of shady tactic and you'll, skyrocket your growth. That's not what growth marketing is. It's not what growth hacking is, but we're going to keep away from the term growth hacking because it just has those negative connotations. Growth marketing is not like taking one action of being like, oh, if we just do this one thing, we're going to, have exponential growth and be multi-billionaires in no time at all. It's not about going viral. Going viral can be a result of good growth marketing, but it's very difficult to engineer going viral. If you actually look into a lot of campaigns and things that go viral, 9 times out of 10, it's like, the 30-second attempt this company or, agency or whatever it might be has run. That one's gone viral, the rest haven't. Going viral, in my experience, is a result of trying many different things, and eventually one of them hits. And of course, with a good system in place of a good growth model, you can more quickly sort of push things out and more likely to get something to go viral because it's about that look surface area. And good growth marketing is not about quick wins. It's not about, setting something up today to make $1 million tomorrow. These things can happen. These things do happen. These things are very rare. People will not tell you that because they want to sell you their super secret source book about the quick win that they did and how you can make 11 million a grand by the end of tomorrow. It's ridiculous. But yeah, basically growth marketing is not any of those sort of negative things that a lot of people seem to associate with it. It's not about quick wins. It's not about any of these things. It is good growth marketing is a good system for growth for any company. What you often get is people who believe that it is all about single tactics and single actions. And, they believe that, if you just improve X, you'll see huge gains. And the problem here is that this is the sort of dialogue that's set out there by course providers and service providers. You'll have like somebody who does maybe, in this case, X could be anything. So somebody who sells a Facebook ads course or is a Facebook ads person. To them, every problem in every business can be solved with Facebook ads because they're selling a service, they're biased. Of course, the best service providers and the best operators in these spaces won't take on clients that they can't help. It's not always the case. A lot of the time, that people are trying to sell a course, so they're biased, and they'll say, like, if your growth isn't where it should be, Facebook ads is the answer. If your growth isn't where it should be, it's because your landing page is shit, and doing this will increase the conversion rates by X%. If your growth is crap, it's because onboarding is poor and people aren't finding the value of your product. Here it is. People will just say, this is that one thing that you need to improve. If you fix this, your company will be perfect. All the way, done, that's it, happy days. It's just not the way that it works. And, they set this model out there and they believe that this is the way things will go, and that's what they sort of promote. And they promote this image that this is the kind of trajectory of what your company's going to, experience. Growth is stagnated, it's down here. You buy our Facebook ads course or you hire us to do Facebook ads and boom, you'll be up in the very best of the companies and your revenue will go through the roof and all this. Very, very rarely does that happen. And again, there's always a caveat. This can happen, but really those are the exceptions to the rules. This isn't like common that you can just set up a better Facebook ad campaign, a search ad campaign, a display ad campaign, whatever, product ad campaign, or a better landing page or a better email nurture sequence, or all of these things. You very, very rarely will you set up that one thing and see revenue skyrocket and stay up there. It's just not the way that it happens. Better way to think about growth is that it's not about flatlining and then this massive spike. Those quick wins often lead to like very quick declines as well. They're kind of flash in a pan. better way to think about growth is to try and get steady growth over time. And if you look at anybody who's grown sort of a long-lasting business, something that is still doing well after months or years, their trajectory of growth is more gradual, and they might see little spikes, but generally if you were to take that sort of growth line and take the spikes and the dips out of it, it would look more like this, a much more gradual, and the time frame might be longer or shorter depending on what they have to play with in terms of funding and all of this sort of stuff, but the trajectory of good growth marketing is more stable, and that's just the way that it is. And you can speed this up and through various measures, but really it's not about like big spikes, because I've seen it many times. This is traffic to one of my websites, so it's pretty stable, and then boom, massive traffic spike from one little action, a growth hack if you like, and for one day we had triple the traffic, and the next day we were back to where we were. It's that's kind of what a lot of these growth hacks end up doing, when you're just focusing on that single element that's going to massively increase X. It will massively increase X on a very short timeline, and that's fine, but you can't keep doing that. It's unsustainable. You need to be looking at that steady trajectory of growth. And in my opinion and my experience, and where we've got the best growth sort of trajectories and the best results for people, it's all about building an effective system, because when you have a system in place, you're not dependent upon those little spikes. You're gradually improving things, and then you can actually see where in that system you're deficient and where things are not working, and you can go back and improve that thing, and then that will help you get to the next bit. And then you can sort of piece things together more easily than just go like, what's the next little hack that we're going to do to get the next spike? When you have a system in place and you know that people are traveling from A, B, C, D in that sequence, you say, right, people are dropping off at point B, we need to improve that. That's how you get more long-lasting, healthier growth. And it's all about improving those elements and doing it very quickly and all the time. As soon as you see something isn't working, you need to look at it and go like, why isn't this working? And then improve that element. And you've got to think long term. These little wins that people can get, where you see these spikes in traffic, impressions, conversions, revenue, whatever it might be, they're great. And give yourself a pat on the back, head down the boozer, have a pint, celebrate, wicked. But unless you can keep doing that day in, day out, it's pointless. Chasing those spikes is a great way to sort of burn yourself out and often burn a lot of bridges. So don't look for the quick spikes. Look for the long-term gains, the long-term plans, a good system in place, and then those little spikes that happen as you're sort of implementing this will just help further that growth. But you've got to focus on that long term. Living just for short-term gains is very, very difficult in this game. So when you're talking about that system, every time, and I've worked for 10 plus years in marketing, digital marketing now. Every brand that I've worked with where we've achieved really impressive growth, every brand that I've analysed for the growth models that we do analysis on our website, every person who's come to me and said, through your content we managed to do this, every single one, when you analyse the growth, there is generally 4 stages that are hit very, very well. And I like to call it the ACEs system, and it's how they're attracting, converting, engaging, and referring, right? So we're going to go deep into this and explain why focusing on these 4 stages as a growth model is the better way to establish healthier long-term growth than just looking at like Facebook ads. That's how we're going to grow. So attracting is all about ensuring your ideal audience finds the offer. It's how you attract people to you. And we're going to go into detail in these. So don't think, what is this? We'll get into that after this slide. Convert is how you're converting them into, usually if you're like an information provider, that would be how you're attracting them from being a visitor to your website into a lead, and then from a lead into a customer. For a software company, it might be from a visitor to a free user, for a free user to a paid customer. It's 2 conversions in these. If you're a sort of e-commerce product or brand, it might be like, you're bringing people in, how are you going to get them to buy the product? That's the conversion. What's that step somebody is going to take to then say, I want this, or I want to know more, where you basically solidify that relationship so that you can continue to nurture them through a purchase or through an opt-in is usually what convert would be. Once you've got them as a converted user, a qualified lead in some cases, a customer in others, how are you engaging? And so engaging is all about helping them get the most value from your order. Let's change that. From your offer. So again, how are you helping them find the right information to help them? If you're an information education place, if you're a software company, how are you helping them get the most value from your free tier so that they go up to your paid tier? If you're an e-commerce store, how are you helping them get the most value from the product that they've just bought from you? How are you helping them get the most value from what it is that you give them? Once you've managed to get them good value from whatever it is that you offer, how are you going to get them to refer their friends and colleagues and all of these other people? And this is like a key thing for a growth model. So, attract, convert, engage is kind of common stuff for a lot of marketing sort of speak. You're talking about like top of funnel, middle funnel, bottom of funnel. You're bringing them in, you're moving them down, all of this kind of stuff. But it's this refer that, in my opinion, makes it a growth model. So once you've got happy customers, how are you getting them to be advocates for your brand? Because you can have one happy customer who can then bring in 100 others through, an affiliate program or whatever, which we'll get into in a second. But that refer is really, really key. And I'll explain more as we go on. So what can you do at each of these stages? You can do a ton of different things at each stage. This is just like a very simple, very short explanation of what could be done at each stage. So you can attract people to your brand through social ads, through search ads, through social media, like, LinkedIn, Twitter. There's a lot of creators now who are driving, 6 figures through just social media posts, through SEO, through content marketing, through community posting, through all of these different things. You can keep going on forever. There's a lot of different ways that you can attract people to your brand. Once you've attracted them, where are you going to send them? You're going to send them to like a landing page, a sales page, could be a content upgrade, could be a sales call. Again, there's dozens and dozens of these potentials that you could use to get people into your brand, to get them either as a lead so that you can market to them and then get the sale, or a direct sale. There's loads. And again, with Engage, there's lots of different ones for this. It could be an email nurture sequence. It could be in-app messages like, oh, go here, do this, set this up. Could be one-to-one sales calls, like demos that you're helping them set up their campaigns, or you're helping them get the most out of the product. It could be a leaflet that you include if it's a physical product that explains, like, IKEA does this, obviously. You buy something, they give you a massive leaflet which tells you this is how you set this up in record time. You don't have to figure this out. This is how you get from this pile of wood into a bookcase. And then once people have found that value, how do you get them to refer others? You can incentivize referrals, social shares, affiliate programs. Again, lots of different ways to do this. And so then you might be thinking, okay, so there's a lot of different things in here, and still many people will be like, just improve your landing page. That's it. The thing is, for some, doing everything in attract and everything in convert and everything in engage doesn't work. You've got to find what's best for your brand. So as an example, in the last couple of months, I've done consultations with different companies of different forms and all of this. Couple of outlines of how these different people, and these are multi-million-dollar brands, right? So I remember I've spoken to one guy who is information product is his offer. Basically, it's a course, and he was using social ads to a landing page, which was actually, it was a VSL, a video sales letter, so on a landing page, but VSL is another way to convert people. So it's social ads to a VSL to email nurture. And this guy in 18 months did, I think, $2.4 million in sales. And yet I've spoken to another guy who was doing social ads, right? Different company, different kind of offer that they were running. It was actually like a matchmaking service. It was social ads. And then that goes through to a landing page, which then goes through to a one-to-one consultation. Completely different at that stage. Another guy I know has been using SEO to drive people to content, uses content upgrades, and then it's actually referrals to other tools. So it's an affiliate program that he's running, basically affiliate site, so that he has lots of different affiliate programs. He's driving people to there. But these are 3 different businesses who are all doing 7 figures plus, different models. And if I said to the guy who's running a $2.4 million a year information product business, you need to improve the SEO, that might be the next step. But if he wants to increase what he's doing now, best bet is, how can he, finish off this model, because there was something that was missing in the model. And that's what I think a lot of people don't understand, is at the beginning, you've got to understand what is going to be the fastest method for you to see results with the growth of your company. And for some, that might be social ads, sales page, email nurture, affiliates. That might be the model that you've got to implement today to get yourself up to that $2.4 million a year level. And then you can look at, right, how can we build this out? Should we then grow to do search ads? And what you do is you build one model that brings people in and nurtures them all the way through. Once that's working and it's profitable and it's not self-sustaining, but it's, it's working well, and you like, great, this is it. Then you look at how you can add to it. And it's not about just increasing one of the elements to increase the level. You need to get this up to a good level that's working well. And so that's what a lot of people get wrong, right? So let's imagine that you are doing this, social ads to a sales page, to email nurture, to affiliates. And right now you have a baseline 10% conversion rate at each stage. And you know that you can be doing better at these things. At this point, do you go and you start building out SEO or search ads? No, you want to get this as good as it can be before you start branching out into other different elements and different models. So what a lot of people will do is they'll be on, social media, or they'll be wherever they hang out and get their advice. And they'll see somebody saying, the best bet for you to increase the success of your business is to improve sales pages, because brands with these kind of sales pages do more numbers. Right. And so what they do is they go out and they pay 10 grand to an incredible copywriter to improve that sales page. It turns out that copywriter is really good at their job and actually managed to double the conversion rate of the sales page. So they're still running social ads to 10,000 people, but now they're getting 2,000 people to convert. Great. Doubled their conversion rate, double the number of customers. Brilliant. And then the rest of it is still at 10% because nothing else has been improved, right? So you've now got a 20% conversion rate here, but this is still down to 10% and down to 10%. So whereas before you had 10,000, 1,000, 110, you've now got 10,000, 2,000, 220. That would be classed as a win in many people's books. And I think, yeah, it should be. Pat yourself on the back. Job well done. Pay that copyright to what they asked, because this has worked well. Personally, though, to me, it's inefficient. There is a better way to grow, and especially if you're looking at building a proper growth model that will continue to grow your brand over time, better and better as time goes by. Basically what it is not to focus on any one of these elements. It's to make sure that each individual element is good. Not great, because what they've done here is they've paid for a copywriter to come in and build a best-in-class sales page that's great, and that can improve things. But personally, I would rather have good at each stage before I look at being great, because the compounding gains that you get from multiple stages that are just incrementally better every day, week, month, whatever, so much bigger over the long term. So let's say, rather than just hiring a best-in-class copywriter and you pay them 10, 20 grand to do this sales page, you improve things just a little bit on each one, and you get a really good model that works better than most people's. How is that going to impact things? So you implement templates and a good model at each stage, and you don't manage to double the conversion of any stage, but you manage to add 1.5 times, so from a 10% to a 15% conversion rate. That's great. You're adding 50% on top just by using the best practices of each stage, right? So you then go from 10,000 people attracted to 1,500 rather than the 2,000. Okay, so you've got fewer customers there, but hold on, you've now got at the next stage 25 more people who are engaged with the product and have got the value out of the product and are really like, wow, this is amazing. So before this was 200 here, because all you've done is increase one. In this one, just by improving A, B, and CER in this case, You've got more people who are engaged and are finding the true value of your product. And then the affiliates, you've got 20 affiliates here. Here you've got 33 affiliates. Now imagine each affiliate only brings you 10 customers, or whatever for that year. You've got an extra 130 just off this here. And obviously they won't bring you 10, some will bring you 100 or 1,000, some will bring you 0. But this is, in my experience, a better way to grow, because what's going to happen is these affiliates here are going to drive more people back to the convert page. And so this 1,500 from the social ads is not 1,500, it's 1,500 direct. But the sort of loop and the sort of network effect of having more people in and more people getting the value from your brand, more people going to be talking about it, more people going to be referring others to your product, you're going to get more people coming back. So that's what this is all about. It's about improving each and every stage of the model, the attract, convert, engage, refer. If you can improve each and every stage, you're going to get better compounding gains over time. And it's just a much better way to grow. It's much healthier, much longer lasting. And then once you start to increase things at each and every stage individually by getting best in class people, everything's just ramped up to another level. This is a much easier method than trying to pick, one best in class service provider or spend months trying to figure out how to write the most effective sales page. And, you just use all of the best practice models out there. You improve the whole sequence. It works to grow your business way, way better. Trust me. And great growth is all about well-devised growth models. It's about that whole sequence. It's not about having best-in-class Facebook ads. And I've got to be honest here, where we're saying that you get a baseline 10% conversion rate at each stage. This is like an ideal situation. Most people don't even have this. What most people have is they have a sales page that converts at 1%. And so then they're like, oh, what should we do? Should we increase the sales page? No, let's drive more traffic. So then they go and spend another, $5,000 a day on social ads or 10 grand a day on social ads. And it's just kind of money wasted. You should be looking at the whole sequence, how people progress from A, C, E, and R, how they go through, and then how you can build that referral loop. And that referral loop is key. Most people don't do this. And it doesn't have to be anything particularly impressive. You can even just ask people who love your product and have got the value to go to social to share it. Years ago, I worked with a clothing brand that was a single product, different designs, but one product. And they dominated social, and they grew to, I think it was 5 million revenue in 2 or 3 years because of their the referral, the social element. People were just happy to share it. But of course, you're not going to get this until people are finding the value. You're not going to be able to help them find the value until people are converting. And you're not going to be able to get people to convert if this is crap. Doesn't matter how much traffic you throw at a crappy sales page. It's got to be good. It's got to be good the whole way through. You can't just have one standout element, because if everything around it is shit, it's pointless. It's wasted. Core aspects of a great growth model: solid assets for the attract, convert, engage, refer stages. And by solid, I mean doesn't have to be best in the world. It just has to be better than average and really clear on helping people get the value. That's the key thing, because you're making sure that the user finds value in what you're offering. And you have to make sure that they get that value. And then once they're getting the value, build that referral loop in. These are so underrated, and people really misunderstand and don't use referral loops effectively. And referral loops are quite easy to implement if you're getting the right traffic to the right page, and from the right page you're getting the good value, and then you ask them for that referral, they're going to be like, of course, you've helped me solve problem A. So that's the core aspects of a good growth model. If you want to learn more, go to growthmodels.co. We're building out more and more sort of templates, systems that you can learn from. We've got great case studies on some of the biggest brands and how they've done this. So go there, understand more about growth models. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to us via the site, and we'll be happy to help out any way we can. Speak soon.